Hey everybody, it's Mark. Back with another video on the car. I just wanted to go over a few things. It's kind of like a part two of why I went with an S550. Basically, like I said in the first one, it came down to money and the ability to own it outright. Like, those new Mustang GTs, you can find some listed at like 45, 50K, but most of the time, truth be told, you're not going to get out of the door of a Ford dealership. Oh God, my knee popped. You're not going to get out of a Ford dealership without paying like 60K for a new Mustang GT, and that's going to be like probably the minimum. I mean, some guys might get lucky and get out of there depending on like what they put down or something like that, but they might get lucky and get out of there paying like 55K tax and tags out the door. You know what I mean? That's lucky. That's pushing it. So I knew that I wasn't getting out of a dealership. Even if I put like 20 grand down on a car, I'd still be stuck with like $750 a month payments, $800 a month payments. And to me, it just wasn't worth it. They didn't, like, yeah, they've improved things over the years. They've made the Coyotes better over the years. That's a matter of opinion. That's an argument for another day. I'd rather have my Gen 2 Coyote over all the other Coyotes, if I'm being honest. The only thing I envy on the Gen 3s and the Gen 4s is the higher compression that they have. They say they have slightly stronger springs up top for revving out a little further. But the Gen 2 has no problem going to 8,000 RPM. Once it's tuned and everything's set up right, these rev out to, past 8,000 too. So, yeah. The Gen 2, the crank that's in the Gen 2 is pretty much similar to Gen 1 Boss 302 crank. It's a mass-produced, I hate saying half-assed, but it's like a mass-produced, smoother, more well-balanced crankshaft that's in the Gen 2s. That's why I like when you rev out to 7,000, they're like, whoom, whoom. I mean, just smooth. You take a Gen 1 and try to do the same thing, rev that out, by the time you hit 6,000, that car's like, you know what I mean? It's like shaking and shit once you hit 6,500. Like, you could really, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Gen 1 Coyote is a great motor. I'm not knocking what anybody has, but it was always going to be the Gen 2 for me. But anyway, this is what I wanted to show you guys real quick. I just saw this stuff. I've seen other guys on YouTube have these. I got these I actually saw, they came up by accident. They're just little valve stem caps, screw-on caps. I hope they don't get stolen. Somebody's probably gonna steal them from me, but you can see real close, they got like a little pony on them, so they're gonna look pretty cool on the car. I don't know. Then I ordered these door inserts. See if I can get these out with one hand. These are supposed to go into the door handles, which I'm going to try and pop in right now. Might as well do it. I've seen other guys, other YouTubers with these in their car, and it like really helps for like if you got a phone and stuff like that. Okay, so that's in backwards. That's the wrong one for this. That must be for the other side. Yeah, this is the driver's side one. It's got like this little cushion in here that kind of helps it like lock in place. Let's see how that feels, like closing the door. I mean, you kind of want to take it and push it from the front down. It does slide in and out a little bit. I guess when you grab on your door handle, it may shift a little on you, but it makes it so you can stick something in there, like your cell phone. I could throw change in there. I actually kind of like it. It doesn't really change the look of anything. I'm gonna actually stick with that. Yeah. I won't know until I drive around and use it for a month or two. That's kind of how it was with a lot of things I did to the car. You put it on the car and it's not till like a month or two that goes by that you've been driving it. Whether or not you, like, that's when you realize whether or not you like it or it turned out to be a decent modification. That feels better than the other side. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take it. I'll live with it for now. It's nice to know that they can always pop back out if you're not happy with it. But, yeah. I like being able to throw change or throw something in the door handle when you have to real quick. Just for temporary reasons. Or, I mean, I know you have the bottom half of the door and everything, but it's nice to be able to just throw some change or throw your phone in there. I know I keep saying that, but I have that on every other car. This is the only one where, like, if you stick something in there, it just falls to the bottom. So, I don't know. I just wanted to fix that. These were $10 each. And then, oh, sorry about the background noise. They're working on this house next door to me. And then these were $10 for the 4 of them. I don't know. Let's see. See how it looks on here. Let me just go around and pop them on real quick. Hold on. There's a little, I don't know if you'll be able to see it inside of there. There's like a little red O-ring gasket inside of there. It's supposed to help seal things up a little bit better. Protect from rust, waterproof it a little. I don't know. I think the regular ones do that anyway. I like how that's screwed on though, man. I mean, it's kind of not straight. Like if you looked at it straight on like that, but I don't know, man. I knew they weren't gonna like be perfect. All right, so let's go do the back one now. I gotta clean these wheels up too. I'm gonna do that later on. I gotta go to physical therapy in about a half hour or so. I just wanted to come out here and get a video in for you guys. Also, just a heads up. I know I'm only spitting out about 2 videos a month anyway, but I'm getting ready to go back to work. And it's gonna be harder for me to do videos, or I should say harder for me to get in the mood to do videos. So I'm gonna try, even though once I get back to work, I'm gonna be really busy. I'm still gonna try and spit out at least 2 videos a month. I'm gonna aim for 3. That way I at least get 2 videos a month out there to you guys. Because I know I still have some loyal, there's about, a little over 100 of you guys who've been loyal and been sticking with me. And been patient actually dealing with my money issues. I know a lot of people want to see me slap a whip on this car and turn it up and see what the car can do, but just really don't, being honest, I really don't have the money right now. I just don't. About 2-3 more years, I should be pretty close to having all the money I need to do it, and do it right. When I do it, I want to do it right. I want it to run like it could have plausibly came from Ford that way. I want to use like GT500 parts if I can get away with it. Yeah, like I want to throw GT500 half shafts in the back for the rear axles. I'd like to, get the GT500 injectors, go to Whipple, GT500 fuel pump, maybe even like a stronger fuel pump than that. I'm not sure yet. I'm still like studying and trying to figure out so I'm searching the internet for some of the best setups I've seen out there. And being that this the Gen 2 architecture, that's another reason why I chose this car. The Gen 2 architecture is almost spot on the same as the Voodoo and the Predator. I don't mean as far as like displacement is different, but the only thing different about them is their heads are slightly different, and like the GT350 heads are nasty, obviously, but they all are variants of each other basically. Like these guys, okay, example, the GT350, the newest one, they don't have direct injection. Same thing with the GT500. None of them have direct injection. This doesn't have direct injection. It wasn't until 2018 that they did DI and port. This is port, strictly port injection. Alright, now it's all done. Now getting back to the point. The point is, with port injection, it's less headaches when you're tuning, for the tuners anyway. They don't have to worry about what the DI injectors are doing. They just make power through port injection, boom, done. You don't have to worry about blowing out one of the direct injectors because you're blowing too much, you know, you got too much pressure in there from the blower or turbo, whichever setup you choose to go with. Most people choose to go with the Whipple or some other type of blower. A lot of them like those Pro Charger blowers. They're cheaper, they do make good power, they're better. If I had a 10-speed, I'd probably want like a Paxton or something like that myself. Just because it's not a ton of torque down low to break your 10-speed, but it gives you enough torque so when you're up top in that, you know, you're dropping down to 6,000 and then back up to 7,000, it just keeps you. I mean, it's just a perfect power adder for that 10-speed. This is a 6-speed manual. Up until 18, they were all 6 speeds. Even the automatics were 6-speed automatics. The 6R80, I will argue all day long that it's a better transmission than the 10R. Let me take that back. Depending on what you want to do, it's a better transmission than the 10R. If you want to dig race, it's the 6R80 all day. Nothing can beat the 10R80 is not going to beat it in it. Like quarter mile racing, you want the 6R80. If you're just roll racing people from 40 rolls to 60 rolls, the 10 speed's what you want. That's going to give it to people all day long. And don't get me wrong, you can dig race with a 10 speed. I'm not trying to offend anyone or anything like that. I'm just saying the facts. The 6R is known to hold up a lot better than the 10R80. So that's why I went with what I went with. I went with a car that makes basically the same power. Like they claim the Gen 3's like 20, 30 more horsepower than this, but I've driven both cars and they roughly feel the same to me. There might be a 24 horsepower difference at best, but once you start modding the cars like X-Pipe, high flow exhaust in the back, you start opening up the exhaust for the car will, I mean, this is probably making 450 to the crank easy now. And I haven't even done really anything to it other than mess with the exhaust. I put in the IRS braces. Those are something I had put on like 3 months ago, and I really didn't get a chance to speak on the Steeda IRS braces, how much of a difference they make. You don't really notice it because at first you're just driving your car around. You're going to Cars and Coffee, you're going to your buddy's house. You don't notice how much of a difference those IRS braces are making in the rear of the car until you start to rag on it a little bit. Once you start banging gears, first, second, third gear, or you start trying to take turns and take bends in the car, you notice that those rear IRS braces are just holding those back wheels locked in place. It almost feels like you're on a friggin' straight axle from like the first gens, except you still got your rear independent suspension. It just stiffens it up a lot. Makes a huge difference. Like, that's another thing I wanted to say. Like, you don't need to go all out and get the whole Steeda Stop the Hot kit. just getting those IRS braces will do the trick enough. If you're just a weekend warrior like me anyway. If you're somebody who's taking your car to the track and you're drag racing and you got a track nearby, then by all means, go all out. Go MGW shifter, go one-piece drive shaft, go nuts. But for me, I don't want to lose the drivability of my car. The more aftermarket parts you start throwing on the car, the less it starts to feel stock. I like that nice, soft, smooth stock feel. I like the ability to put it in sport mode, or put the steering in sport mode and feel the change and have it handle. This is also a performance pack. Performance pack comes with slightly better parts. Not much better, but slightly better. This car will definitely outhandle a regular base GT. The base GT doesn't come with the K-member brace, and then there's another K-member brace underneath. Then there's a bigger rear sway bar in the back. The front shocks are tuned better. They're stiffer than on a regular GT. There's just a lot of little things that come in that performance pack that people just kind of nix off like it's not important, but it really makes a difference, especially when you start trying to take turns and like use the car in a nimble way. But yeah, I got so lucky. This thing popped up online. It had under 9,000 miles on it, and I just like jumped on it immediately because I had been looking for so long, and all I could find were cars with like 30,000 miles on them, 2 owners, 25,000 miles, 1 owner. Then there was some that were like 55,000 miles, and they wanted like 45K for them, and it had 3 owners, 4 owners. Some of these cars, that's 3-4 different personalities beating the shit out of the car, and then you end up buying it, and now you have a car that's been ragged on by 3 different people. I knew, that's why I jumped on this. I knew this only had 1 owner. It sat in a garage. The guy bought it in 2017 and only managed to put 8,900 miles on it. He only put 8,900 miles on it in 7 years that he had it. So that tells me he barely drove it. It was brand new. Like, I wish I could take you guys inside the car and there was a way that you could smell on camera. You can still, like, when you get in the car, it has that new smell. And don't get me wrong, dude, I'm not a fool. I know car dealerships do little tricks to make cars smell new. They got sprays and perfumes, but I've had this car at my house for 10 months now. And you can still smell that the plastics are new. You still has that new, like, smell and all the plastics and stuff like that, dude. Like, it's unbelievable how lucky I got, actually. It was a combination of patience and luck and COVID and everything that was going on that got me this car. I mean, so far, the mods I like the most that I did, honestly, got to the car are the IRS braces in the back. Really stiffens up the rear of the car. And then the Steeda body mount brace for the shifter assembly. It just holds the back of that assembly like nice and stiff. Makes your shifts feel more direct, more deliberate. And then, I mean, I've done a few little dumb things. Changed out the lugs. Nothing crazy. I didn't go like, I'm not trying to go full retard on the car. And no offense to anybody like that, but you know what I mean. I'm not trying to go crazy with this car. Once I feel like the car doesn't owe me anything and I'm completely 100% on top, out of debt, got credit cards paid off in full, that's when I'm going to make a move to turn her up. It's going to probably be another year or 2, more than likely 2.5 years, the way things are going, before I have the money. But in about 3 years, this is going to be whippled, tuned by Lund, and just a sleeper. I'm not going to stripe it. I'm not going to do any of that dumb shit I see people doing. They stripe their cars out to try and make them look like Shelbys, and then it's like, oh, is that a Shelby? No, it's not. Why you got stripes on it? Oh, I like the look. That's gotta be an embarrassing feeling. And dude, listen, I am not taking shots at anybody. I am the to each his own type of guy. Like, do what you want. It's your car. If you want to make your car look like shit, dude, this is America. Make your car look like shit. If you want to make your car look like a Shelby, a fake Shelby, make your car look. You want to make your car look like a fake Dark Horse? Go ahead. But when you're at a gas station, filling up, getting gas, and somebody pulls up to you and says, "Oh, is that a Dark Horse?" or "Oh, is that a Shelby?" and you got to be like, "No, I don't know." That's just me. Again, not trying to offend anybody. I think the stripes, some of the stuff people do look cool. I think it looks great. But when you try to make your car look like something it's not, I don't know. That's when it starts to get into that gray area for me. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. It's already been 20 minutes over some freaking caps and these door handle inserts I put in. I'm going to take the car out for a ride later and see how it feels getting in and out of the car. Let's take a look at the other side. I'd love to know what the hell all this is on the ground here. It's like something was dead under there. A cat killed something under my car. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try it out. Sure, they make ones from another company that have a better fit, but these were the ones everybody was saying to get, so I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna end it there. You guys take care, man. Like I said, I'm gonna try to keep spitting videos and keep in touch. Oh, one last thing I'm gonna do. You see how ventilation's like real good down low? I know they do this for a reason, to keep too much water from getting into the car, but I'm going to be drilling these out. I'm going to go at least to here and down. Same thing all the way over to here. I'm going to go all the way over to here and then work my way into down. This is already most of the way open. This is where your air for your intake is for your air box. So if anything, I'm going to open this up more over here. I don't know, I might just get a 1/2-inch drill and just burp, or Dremel it out right. I don't know. Either way, it doesn't matter. I am going to get some kind of a little extra airflow out here. It's a good idea to do that. Punch all these holes out. Not all of them, but just like one row along the top here. And then open this up here, and then the same thing over here. It doesn't matter so much over here as it does here, because that's where I just have the one intake. It's not a 24, but if you had a 24, you definitely want them open as much as you can on both sides. And I figured out why they did that dual intake setup on the 24s in the first place, and why the vent is in the center now. It's inlet temps. That's the way they fixed the inlet temps on these cars. All these cars, if you look at the inlet temps, they all read 10 to 15 degrees higher than whatever the temperature is outside. Like if it's 90 degrees outside, you're gonna have like inlet temps that say 102, 103. Well, Ford fixed that by putting the big vent in the center instead of having the vents on the sides like they had in the 2s, 3s, Gen 1s. They put that center vent. They learned from the Shelby GT500 that center vent let out a lot of heat. So having that big center vent in the front is how they keep them inlet temp cools. And having the extra air box running more cold air into it is another way to keep the inlet temp cools. That's why like if it says 100 outside, their inlet temp say 100. If it says 90, their inlet temp say 90. So kind of figured that one out on my own, and through listening to a few other YouTubers who have 24s. That's the only thing we could come up with, is that center heat extractor that they have, and then the dual intakes makes inlet temperatures decide whether the car is going to pull timing or not. It's so important. It's more important than people realize. That's why, like, when it's hot, a hot day, I won't even rag on my car. I won't even beat on it. I won't even bother. When I look and I see inlet temps at 110, 113, it's like, what's the point of making a hit? It's only going to pull timing. It's too hot, you know? But, so I'm glad we still have some winter in the Jersey area. Thank God that we have, we don't have really spring and fall anymore. It just goes from hot to cold and cold to hot. But I do want to say that. But, I'm glad we do have a winter time because it makes it so I can get feel the full power out of this car. Usually around November, December, temperatures drop down below 50. It starts to be like 50, 40 degrees. Wake up in the morning, it's 40 degrees. Inlet temps are reading 50. I mean, it's perfect. They just scream. Again, I keep trying to end this video. I'm going to end it there. You guys take care. Have a good one.